Hello and welcome to Awake Learning. When it comes to the prelims phase of any civil service examination, terminologies part are so important that we can easily crack many questions by knowing the meaning of a particular term. Especially in the environment ecology, this section is very important. So based on that, we can start with some series associated with the terminology part. If you need any kind of help associated with the particular topic, you can comment us on the comment box. Based on that, we will try to make a video regarding the same. Okay, let's begin our first terminology part. Here, what is environment? Environment is nothing but physical surrounding where biotic and abiotic components are interacting with each other. See, here you can make out that when we are considering in environment part, we are having biotic as well as the abiotic component. This is the environment. Here abiotic factor, you are very much aware, physical factors such as nutrient, water and air. In the biotic factor, you can say that living organisms. So what all organisms are there, we can consider them in the biotic factor. There is a constant interaction is happening between biotic and abiotic factor. This is considered as the environment. So hope you understood the environment part. Here, when it comes to the habitat part, habitat is saying that it is emphasizing only the biotic factor, where the biotic factors are existing, where they are living, that is considered as the habitat part. So you can easily figure out that habitat is the part of environment. So here you try to see the definition. Habitat is the physical environment in which the living organisms are living, right? See, this is, you can address the living organisms existence. Based on this, what we can figure out is environment is the dynamic part where the interaction of biotic and abiotic component is happening. In this environment part, we can say that habitat is existing. For example, we all are living with some domesticated animals, right? We do have our habitating pattern along with the other species. In the same way, we can say that in aquatic ecosystem, there are many fish, frog, crabs, all are living with the same environmental support. So based on this, wherever there are organisms are living with a certain condition or certain environmental factors are supporting for their existence, we can consider that as habitat. So you understood the environment part as well as the habitat part. Here, what are the difference? You can easily say that habitat is having the living organisms, as the definition is saying that habitat is having the physical environment where the organisms are living. So based on that, you can make out the difference where the life is existing, but in environment generally we are talking that the physical surrounding. For example, certain environmental area, we may not see the existence of living organisms because of the extreme weather condition. Extreme temperature might be there, extreme cold condition might be there. Because of that, the living organism sustenance is not possible. For example, Mount Everest region, you can consider a Mariana Trench, you can see that their extreme condition is not supporting to life exist there. So what kind of conclusion we can reach here is, when it comes to the environment section, we are seeing the habitat where the living organisms are existing, right? See, in this whole environment part, this is the whole environment part. Here habitat is there, that is the biotic factor or living organisms. See, all the habitats are the part of environment, but not all the parts are habitable. There are certain abiotic factors are also existing in the environment. Now you can see this statement here, all habitats are part of environment, but all places in environment are not habitats. So hope you understood the difference between the habitat and environment. What is ecology? Ecology is nothing but we are scientifically trying to understand. See, this is the scientific study of relationship of living organisms with other, means the relationship between the living organisms and with their environment, where they are living, where they are interacting with other organisms as well as the environment. This is ecology. Here we are trying to study this in a scientific way. So here we are studying the individual organisms, how individual organisms are interacting, how the population is existing, community, ecosystem, biomes. These all level of organization can be studied in a more scientific way. This is called as ecology. Hope you understood environment, habitat, what are the differences, as well as the what is ecology. In the next slide, we are trying to understand holism in ecology. What is the holism? Why we are trying to address with this terminology here is holism when it comes to the environment section. Here we are trying to understand in an integrated manner, interconnected manner. Means each level is depending on other level. For example, interconnectedness must be there. Like whenever there is a changes with respect to one ecosystem, that is impacting to the other. So here we are trying to have the collection of isolated part. So hope you understood. Here the integrated system is happening, interconnected system is happening, because to address that holism term is used. So this is exactly trying to tell the collection of isolated part. Impacting on one part definitely going to impact on the other system. So cascading effect will be there on other part. While addressing the holism, this must be the idea one must have. So what is holism? See, whenever the individual organism is forming, you can recollect how individual or particular species or a particular animal is forming. In generally, atom is microorganisms or micromolecules, you can say. After the micro, macro you can connect. So micromolecules happen, macro. After you can see that formation of the tissues. When tissues are formed, these tissues are aggregated into organs, right? So these organs form organ system. So after well developed organ system, you can see that an individual. So this individual in large number form population. See, you need to understand here is difference between population and community is when we are talking about individual, single species is there, right? Specifically we are talking about an individual organism. When we are seeing in a large number of a particular species like human population, dog population, or particular plant species, you can say that one particular species in a large number considered as a population. When it comes to the community, we can say that existence of different species. The community is nothing but after the population, we can say that the many species existing in a particular area. So community is the co-interaction or the interaction is happening between the different species. After the community is ecosystem. In this ecosystem, many species are interacting with the abiotic factor in the environment. You can see here how the interaction is happening. Many species are existing here with the surrounding environment. And biome part is trying to address many communities are existing. Many communities are interacting with the environment. Biosphere is generally trying to tell lithosphere, biosphere and atmosphere components. So this is what level of organization in an ecosystem. Also we can call it as holism in ecology. See, in exam we can expect this sequence or individual term can be asked. To understand with more clarity, let's look into these statements. What are organisms? When we are considering the organisms, these are the living organisms. They have ability to act or function independently. We are connecting to the individual organisms. Each organisms are independent. So this can be considered. We have seen that how the organisms are formed with the atom or micromolecules. Now species are group of similar organisms capable of interbreeding. They do have similar genetic structure or genetic makeup. Based on that, they are capable of interbreeding. For example, human species or Mangifera indica, any plant species you can consider, or animal species also considered. Population focus on one species, but the number is very large. Large number of organisms where belong to the one species. For example, tiger population, lion population, rhinos can be seen here. Population is talking about or focusing on one species, when community is talking about two or more different species are existing in particular environment. That is, many species are interacting with environment. Based upon the dominant species, we can name it. For example, grassland community, which is dominated by the grasses, along with the other herbs, shrubs also interacting with environment, or many animal species also existing in this grassland community. So based on this, we understood what is community. And ecosystem talk about interaction of living organisms with other organisms, also with the physical environment. And ecosystem is also considered as the structural and functional unit of biosphere. This is the basic unit in the biosphere where the interaction between the living and non-living organism is happening. As you already know that this interaction can be studied in a scientific way called as ecology. Then biome is talking about large community like flora and fauna existing in particular habitat. Generally, naturally occurring larger community is considered here. For example, rainforest biome, tundra biome. See, here the climatic conditions are the major factor. These are characterized by or influenced by the climatic factors. This is about biome. After the biome is biosphere. This is emphasizing on biological component existing on the earth. In generally, it is including lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. See, as the name indicates, bio means life. Sphere means there is a space. In whichever space life is existing, that is considered as biosphere. So, it is also including some dead organic matter. So, wherever the living organisms are present on the earth. And we can also include some other terms associated with ecology and environment. Abiotic factors are talking about inorganic and non-living organisms. Limiting factor is nothing but environment is trying to determine the survival of an organisms. So you can also connect the term environmental determinism. Here the limiting factor is certain environmental factors. For example, in the cold region certain kind of animals are existing, or in a temperate region different kind of animals are existing. Based on the environmental conditions, organisms are modifying their structure as well as their physiology. So you can say that environment is determining the survival of a living organism. For example, seed germination happen only with a certain environmental factors. Soil has to be there, that is nutrient soil has to be there, certain moisture has to be there, particular temperature only supporting the seeds. These are the environmental factors. In generally, evergreen forests have more rainfall, but soil is not supporting because of leaching effect. Rainfall is taking away all the nutrients existing in the soil. Because of that, we can say that soil is not supporting factor for the plant growth. This is one of the limiting factor. This example can be easily recollected. Then moving to the biotic component. Biotic component also considering certain terms. In the biotic, we need to understand primary producer. Generally, green plants with their chlorophyll pigment as well as using the sunlight, they are able to produce their own food. They are considered as autotrophs. Not only plants, certain bacteria are there, algae are also capable of producing their own food. These are considered as primary producer. In terrestrial ecosystem, we can see grasses, plants, trees are the primary producers. While in aquatic ecosystem, microscopic algae are there, we can call it as planktons. Aquatic plants are the primary producers. When it comes to the consumer part, they are totally depending on primary producers. These are also called as heterotrophs or phagotrophs. Here consumers are incapable of producing their own food. Because of that only they are depending on the plant or other animals for their consumption. This has to be the definition of consumers. Here we have two types of consumers. One is micro consumer, another is macro consumer. Micro consumers are nothing but saprophytes. Here they are depending on the dead and decaying materials, or dead organic substance are the main source of energy for them. Example, bacteria and fungi are depending on the dead organic materials to get their energy. These are the saprophytes. They are considered as the micro consumers. They are very important for decomposition process in the environment. So inorganic nutrients are released to the environment with the decomposition process. You can see here. And micro consumers are herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Here herbivores are vegetarians. They are depending on plants for their consumption. So primary source of energy is plant. Example, cow. Carnivores are non-vegetarian. They are depending on other living organisms for their consumption, or they will feed on primary consumers. Example, lion. This is the carnivore. When it comes to the omnivore, they are both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. They will eat plants and animals as well. Human is a carnivore animal. So these are the example you can easily figure out. Hope you understood clearly. Here when it comes to the decomposition, viruses are not considered as the decomposers. Generally bacteria and fungi are considered as the decomposers. These organic substances are breakdown into the simpler matter which are contributing into the nutrient cycle. See, generally these kind of exceptions are trapping tools in prelims exam. So try to figure out the exception while you are learning. I hope you all enjoying the learning. If at all you have any concern, please reach me through the comment section.